It's the Jack
and Cathy
show.
Shit Show.
And there we go.
Yeah, how was
okay,
that? Did you like
I think if
Okay.
We're back from, where were we?
we landed
We
from
were in Arizona
last night at 12:30.
Yeah, so our last podcast, we talked about how we were meeting each other's exes back to back, and we met your ex, and now we're back from the trip where we met my ex.
Well, it was an immersion of family. So a few episodes ago, we merged, combined. So many words. It's like playing Wordle right now in my head. You're so pretty.
Oh, stop it.
They're great.
Oh, I'll give you an hour to knock that off.
Well, a podcast's only 30 minutes.
Okay, I'll give you 30 minutes to knock it
Ooh,
off.
so cute.
All right, go.
So, recap.
Yes.
Combined the kids, most of them, right? A few weeks ago, skiing.
Yep.
Then you got connected with my ex and her side. Mm-hmm. And then this week was my immersion into your family. So living with mom and dad and Dennis and Carol.
Yes. Yeah, we all rented a house, and then you also met my niece. There was one niece you hadn't met, and you got a chance to meet her.
Yep.
And big wedding, and everybody was there. It was
beautiful
kind of,
place.
Oh my gosh.
Stunning, awesome VRBO,
Yeah, the most beautiful bride ever.
Oh, they were great.
Gorgeous.
I love the picture I
They're
took
very
too
happy.
of them.
Yeah,
That was
thank
a really
you for
cool
taking those pictures.
That's what I do.
But yeah, it was the first time my ex was there, and witnessing each other, and situationally the first time, you two being in the same room.
Well, what we always talk about is we're always trying to be conscientious of how other people are affected, for the most part, by our relationship. Right?
True. Yeah, I'd say that's true.
Meaning, how is this affecting the kids? How is it affecting exes? How is it affecting current family members?
Yeah.
This is new for everybody, right?
Sure is. And I don't have the manual on how this is supposed to unfold. Yeah. What? No, it's being written. And brilliant. there's no one manual on how this unfolds.
By the way, we're both operating at about 6 hours of sleep, and so that's why this podcast is probably going to sound more stupid.
All of this, for anybody that can eventually see us online, this just rolled out of bed. And I give a little zhuzh to the hair, put on some glasses to try to hide things, turn up the lights to try to, just blend it all out. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's get to it. Come on, chop chop.
I am so mentally out of it. It's not even funny.
Well, we were starting to talk about it this morning. Then we decided let's just turn on everything and roll it into the podcast. So,
all right, then you talk.
I think the weekend went really well. I wasn't nervous per se. I've never been divorced before. I've never had an ex before. I've never had a boyfriend meeting my ex before. This was all new stuff for me. And so I didn't really know how it was going to be, or how I should be feeling, or what I should be feeling, or what I should be saying or doing. I just sort of wanted to approach it with a really positive heart and an open heart, and knowing that my children were present, and being sensitive to you as well, and my entire family, and my ex. I just wanted to be the best person that I could be in that situation. So that sort of just became my focus, because I can't control the other stuff, right? So I had conversations with both of my children prior, saying, hey, Jack is going to meet Dad and vice versa. And I just want to have dialogue about this with you guys. And if there's anything that you're concerned about, or anything you want to share, or anything that you observe that I'm doing or not doing that is out of the ordinary or not appropriate or not kind or stupid or whatever, hey, let me have it, you know? So, and I'm sure more of that will unfold as they've both returned home and they're going to continue to process and stuff. But I know it was hard for my ex to be present there. I mean, that was almost palpable to witness him, you know, but I know he was very close to the bride, our niece, and he wanted to be there. So, but I know it wasn't easy for him.
Yeah.
Regardless of any other attitudes or things that I might take issue with, I definitely am sensitive to the fact that it was probably harder for him than it was for me. You know, you and I are in a very good place, and you had pretty much met my entire family already, so there was some established connection to them
everybody
already.
except for Rachel.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
not only met them, but
Yeah.
spent considerable time with them. And when,
Right.
when we met
Right.
Andy and Colleen, we were there for hours.
That's my sister and brother-in-law.
Yeah, father and mother of the bride.
Right.
So it met Mark clearly. I mean, we went to a football game,
Yeah.
right? We went to see the Badgers play up in Wisconsin. So we were there for, 7 hours with them?
Yeah.
So it's not like it was just a dinner and kind of scratching the surface.
Yeah.
We really got to spend
Yeah.
time. And then obviously there's been a ton of communication within your family about us. So they're all, when they're still getting to know me. So yes, I agree with you. It was easier for us because we've transitioned through a lot of things already.
And I, you know, again, if I try to put on
Not sure what to do
his
with your hands.
hat, I was putting hands up to talk, but that doesn't work. You know, if I try to stay sensitive to the ex, you know, as an ex, and you and I are both exes to the other side of the family, right? So an ex can probably often feel like they have lost family members. So you separated from your spouse, and you did, you know, you ended that union, but they never really go away for the most part, especially when you have children, and especially if you really love and care about your extended family on that other side.
Sure.
You don't want that to go away. And so I felt like what I witnessed in my ex is that it was hard for him to see a family that used to be more his, and not that it's not anymore, but it's different for him.
It might be.
Yeah.
You may
as
talk.
as it is for me too. I mean, I will still touch base and connect somewhat with that side of the family, but in a different way and less so. And I won't be at every family event anymore for that. And there's a loss there, you know?
Well, so there's a few things here. I mean, to be fair, the best thing to do is to talk to him and say, hey, how'd it go?
Yeah.
And the only big difference between you and me relative to this is that I'm a little bit ahead of you
Yeah.
in that curve, right?
Yeah.
Around that curve, because I've just got done sooner than you did, not because of any better or worse. I'm just ahead of you, right? Just slightly ahead of you on some things. So to me, the best thing is to talk about it, to call the ex and establish footing and make sure everything's good. Because, you know, we talked about that this morning. That's exactly what we were talking about, right? Is to reach out and say, hey, how'd that go? And make sure everything was cool. And
there's a part of me that worries that that's a can of worms. You know, is it my job then to counsel, you know, because it was hard.
no, I'm not suggesting counseling.
Right. No, but would the conversation kind of go to that, and then would I be playing the role I used to in the marriage of trying to make it better?
Yeah,
you know,
I think that's,
because I fall into that.
you know, we're no experts on this stuff, and I'd love to have like a relationship expert on to say what is good or bad, or I guess nothing's really good or bad. It just is, and how you respond to it. Again, I was, you know, my ex and I, let me back up a couple of things. You mentioned about family. So I certainly miss my niece on my ex's side.
Yeah.
And yet still reach out to her every birthday. And when she's in town, she always makes an effort to come out and see me. And if I were ever near her, I would certainly make that effort. She's always going to be my niece, right? You got to meet my ex's sister. So, and we were friendly.
Yep.
So yeah, it's difficult for everybody. And one more thing to that, when I lived in Colorado for a stretch, my ex has a ton of family out there that I adore. I had a blast and tried to reach out to them. We just couldn't fit schedules because it was also COVID and they're a little bit older.
Yeah.
They were really concerned about, the implications of getting together in that environment. Yeah, you never miss that. So your ex is clearly going to miss this side of family. There's connections. It seems like it'd be impossible not to, right? And so one more thing I wanted to add then, the other dynamic that was with this was that your ex's sister and brother-in-law were there also because
Correct.
they're still close with the family.
Yeah. And I'm
so,
close with them too. There's definitely communication with those two. My I don't know. Do you say ex-sister and brother-in-law? Because it doesn't feel like they are exes. So I want to still say
I don't
my
like saying that either.
sister and brother-in-law, because they are still, even though it was on that side of the family, because we're still close and we still, like my sister-in-law and I call each other sissy,
Yeah.
And
talk about Annette.
Yeah. And we're always family, Riley. They say to me, "You're always family," which makes me feel so good to still be close to them.
So that's for me a great segue because I think where you and I always talk privately and off camera about how it's not about chemistry. It's about true connection, right? And what's the other word I'm looking for? I'm so tired right now. It's about come
on, Mr. Wordle and Spelling Bee. You can be genius level playing Spelling Bee in the New York Times, but you're struggling finding a word right now.
Yeah, what's the word about? Listen, you can hear it. It's hollow. Knock it.
Oh, you make better knocking sounds.
Our connection is much deeper than just the chemistry. And one of the things that was so important to me in this relationship was that we accept the fact that we have a long train, I always talk about this, of history behind us, right? A bunch of cars. And so I don't want
also referenced as baggage.
Well, but I don't like saying that.
In the closet.
I don't like saying that because that... No, but
there's a little truth to it, though, don't you think?
No, because it puts a negative connotation on. My preferred word is data and experiences, and that way you can treat it however you want to treat it, right?
Yeah.
And so baggage that has a weight to it that I don't like. I prefer we have experiences, and you can't ignore them. What I appreciate the most about our relationship is that we both wanted to combine all those stories together.
Yeah.
I love the fact that I got to meet your ex and Annette and Pat. And so I just made two great new friends, Annette and Pat, the irony of which we could talk about forever. Pat and I are both from the South Side.
Yeah.
And shared stories of restaurants and White Sox games. And I guess what I love about us, babe, is the fact that we said this is a good thing. And so my ultimate goal is that, and not for them, for our exes, is that they find that same level of peace that we have. Because we live in such an era now. My mom was even talking about this. It's so strange for her because there's so many more people getting divorced.
Yeah.
That our extended families just grow and grow.
Right.
And for me, it was critical to be in a relationship. It really was. I learned after all the other relationships I had prior to you that I was not being true to myself. I mean, and that's the whole purpose of this show, right? I wasn't being true to myself. I wanted a relationship with combined families. Because I accept the fact that that's the reality, right?
Yeah.
You've got in-laws. I have in-laws.
Yeah.
Steve has them. Ooh, should I not say that?
No, that's okay.
All right. Steve has them. Anna has them, right? And so we didn't go into our marriages looking to get divorced, and that's how we are.
Of course.
And so to me, the healthiest of things is to find a way to combine all that, and maybe new friendships get formed, and
no doubt, right?
That doesn't discount anything. And I'd rather view it as experiences. And I know I'm rambling quite a bit. Neither one of us are going to change our exes, and they could argue that we're very similar people to what they didn't like about us, right? We could argue that point easily, right? That huge part of being self-aware here. We're not perfect.
No, definitely
And so
not.
it's not even let's agree to disagree, because I think that's dismissive. Let's just accept these things where we are and try to find a way to move.
Yeah.
And so for me, it was thrilling to be with your family. It was thrilling to meet everyone. I will totally admit this, and it'd be no different if it was my sister and nieces and nephews and everything else. I'm glad to be home alone with you.
Yeah.
As much as I loved everybody, it was nice to get into that last Uber ride, to get here. I'm going to start to cry. To get here to the apartment and be like, okay, we did it. We did all these things. We hung out with everybody. I now want some us time.
Yeah.
And I got to believe your mom and dad feel the same way, brother and sister-in-law. We all...
Yeah, as great as a vacation is, or an experience away from home, there is something to say about coming home and finding. And you and I are still actually finding our home rhythm.
Yeah,
we don't
could be a
quite
next topic,
have it deeply established. I feel like you and I are established. So as we float into these circumstances that life brings us to, I feel solid with you. Like I don't feel like, not having a super established home yet is rocking our world,
No, my daughter last night said, do you even have a home right now? And we, jokingly said I don't.
That's questionable, right?
Yeah. Well, getting back to it, I really appreciated the whole... you can
Jenny's calling.
Oh.
I was going to show her.
No, don't. You can let her know that we're on our podcast right now.
Okay.
That's cute. So, or you can pay attention or not.
What?
I just
my bestie called.
To sum it up, I thought it was great. And I don't want, this is where I want to end with. I don't want it to feel as though, or come across as though, my beard.
No, keep talking.
You just like touching me. I don't want to, you're grooming me. I feel like you're going to pick some things out like a chimpanzee. You're just going to start. Stop it. So would you, okay.
Keep talking.
I don't want it to feel, whether our exes find something that we have or not isn't the goal.
No,
for me, it's not a goal of, I wish they had, because that's righteous to me. Or it just doesn't feel right. Maybe the better way to say it.
Right.
I want us to be able to go someplace and be as comfortable as possible with the circumstance and communicate, because our kids are still young. There's going to be weddings and grandchildren and funerals and graduations and so many things that our lives are together. And so best to intertwine those. I think it works well. And I just appreciated this weekend. I really did. I was the one we flipped roles, right?
Yeah.
Last week you were in my role and vice versa.
Yeah.
So I want to let you know I was proud of it. And then one last thing, and I'd like you to talk about this because I've rambled a lot. The key thing that I think is most important in all of this stuff, and I think our kids sometimes get annoyed because I've been told by mine, you don't have to keep talking about this stuff. You and I think are really good at, even before this event, you called your ex and said, hey, FYI, Jack's going to be there.
Yeah, that's kind of a good thing to talk about,
That's my point. You started it already. I think we're really good at going, are you guys cool with this? In fact, my youngest has said to me now, stop asking.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
and so once we establish that, but that's where I adore our relationship too, is that we're not trying to manage everyone's emotions. We're just trying to understand them and how we might affect them. That's all. And so getting a temperature on where people are with things and our reaction to it. You could even talk to some of that personally, because it affected you more this weekend than me, right? I'm an outsider, so to speak. But I'm impressed with the fact that you did that and that we've done it, and that I think this weekend was great. That's all.
Yeah, and it's like you said, there's more more events to come where we're all going to be blending again, as there are these momentous occasions in the family, and you want to be inclusive of your ex in some of that. And I want to, as imperfect as this weekend was in some ways with that merging of the ex, I still want to continue to try to put that forward in the most positive way, because when I knew I was going to be getting divorced, I said to myself, and I think I said it out loud to many people too, like my ideal scenario would be that my ex with their significant other and me with my significant other could all get together for Christmas, or all get together like, hey, the kids are in town and we're
going for
making
beer,
pizza
meet
and
us.
we're going for a beer. Why don't you and your person come meet us? Like that's, and not to say that we're going to be besties all the time, but certainly when the kids are around, and the kids would appreciate that we could all be in the same room and be civil and kind and enjoy ourselves, like sincerely enjoy ourselves, and say, you know what, you and I didn't work, but
well, here's an example.
But we can make this work.
And here's an example that I think is relevant. So take you and me out of the equation of our exes, okay? Just for a second, split the line between us.
Yeah.
Over the summer, Alex had some stuff that she did in the city and wanted to share that story with her mother and me. Mm-hmm. And so I could sense that she was like, she said, in fact, can you just come over to mom's house? Because I don't feel like telling the story twice.
Yeah.
Right? And you and I didn't have that growing up. We would call our parents because they were both together.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I said, well, why don't we just meet for a beer? Mm-hmm. And so I called my ex and said, hey, or texted or whatever, and said, hey, we're going to be at XYZ. And three of us sat down and had some drinks at a Mexican restaurant, talked about the experience that Alex had in the city, and then went out for dessert afterward. Yeah. Right? Went and go get some cupcakes someplace. My point is, it can be all of those things. And had Anna been with her boyfriend at the time, it would have been bring him, right? Who cares?
Right.
And maybe for some people that's awkward. I would have been I take you out of the equation and I'm still comfortable.
Yeah,
right?
that's not going to work for everybody for
I
sure.
agree.
And it's my goal, and I hope to continue to strive for that, but there's no guarantee that I'm going to get there. It's like this idealistic goal I have for how we're going to be all kumbaya down the road. And we're not there yet. But this was...
It's an ongoing thing. It's going to evolve. It's going to go through.
For sure.
We are, can I say something? We are goofballs 99% of the time.
Yeah.
And this is so serious right now.
I know. Knock it off.
You. All right. Okay, so we're 22 minutes in. We've got 8 minutes left. I know there's not a chance. You know where I'm going. Pick one right now.
You pick one.
I do them every day.
I know. Pick one.
No,
pick one that we did.
That we did.
Yeah. That we both did. There's lots of questions that we both did.
Is there?
So what he's talking about is our, in our previous 3 podcasts.
We've been doing every podcast.
Yes, I know. Oh. I know. But how many podcasts have we done now? What number is this? This is our 5th.
This is number 5.
Okay. This is our 5th. And we... to close, go to our Paired app, which is a pretty cool app that one of us does every single day, and the other one is always trying to catch up.
I'm trying to find where you might have answered a question.
I do like it, but you always wake up early in the morning, and that becomes part of your morning routine, and I am still in bed until about 7:30
p.m.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Which
the
picture?
question is,
yes,
and this is an easy one.
Yeah.
I just like that we write the same exact answer all the time.
Not all the time, but many times.
That was hyperbolic. I can get that word, but I can't think of the other word that's on my mind.
Yeah.
Is anyone coming between you at the moment? Who and how so?
Oh, and both
you
answered.
Wrote, your mother and sister drive me nuts.
That's what I wrote.
Yes, you did. And you said, I'm not quite sure about Alex, but I'll figure her out later.
Yeah, whatever.
I said, no, you're perfect.
We both answered the same, Mr. Smarty Pants, that no one. And again, this is something you answered the question, but you don't see the other person's answer until you have completed the question or completed the answer. And so...
And so the question was, is anyone coming between you at the moment? Who and how so? So I can imagine that happens. And I can imagine that could happen to us at some point. There might be some sort of friction that's weighing on us.
We have certainly talked about certain personalities of people in our life how
Yeah.
they have, maybe we've had to discuss how we're going to handle them or how much time we're going to spend around them.
I've
or
got a really good one.
How does that person make you feel, Kath? And I'd be like, well, not so great.
Well, I've got a great one.
Yeah.
And so you could, normally when you read that question, I think the assumption is it a family member? Is it a close friend?
Yeah.
Are they having opinions in your relationship? Like, why did Cathy do this? Or why did Jack do that? I take it a little bit different. And we manage this well, though. But there was certainly a time when my apartment management, right, where I'm staying right now, was driving me crazy that you were getting frustrated with me because I was getting so caught up in.
I was frustrated for you, though, too. It
Well, no, you were
wasn't
both,
like,
babe.
yeah.
I'm not saying that you were mad at me.
Yeah.
It was clear that it was getting between our relationship. How's that? Right? It was affecting our relationship.
Because it was very consuming for you.
It was
and that's,
all consuming. I couldn't get my head out of
understandable.
it. Normally I like to right ships, and this is an unwritable ship, and I couldn't accept that. And it was having an effect on us, right?
Yeah.
To where I think you had even said, and I'm not paraphrasing, but contextually, you had said, we got to figure out a way to get past this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you said it with grace, and I took it, I think, well. But that's an example of how it doesn't have to be a family member. It could be a moment, right, where something, like even with work stuff, you've talked about that, right, the process. So anyway, thank you for answering. Okay.
That was it.
So, well, we've got 3 minutes left.
Oh,
we have
okay.
So
Yes.
we've got some huge things going on. Do you want to tell the audience?
Well, we're
You're
moving.
expecting.
Yeah, right. Oh, Lord help either one of us if that would ever happen. Plus, it's physically impossible. So there.
Because we're not married, and because we're not married, we're not consummating the relationship.
Yep, that's it. No, we are moving this week. So I own a couple of condos and we're moving into the bigger one, which is super exciting. That has more sunlight. And then
Space. So we're not on
if
top
anybody
of one
wants to
another.
rent a condo in Milwaukee, a 1-bedroom.
It's a beautiful place. Well decorated, updated furnishings, bathroom finished, new appliances.
It's that'll be kind of fun. I'm excited that
Oh,
we're
but
going
what
to
electrical outlet
have
works.
more space over there
yeah.
and more sunlight, and then spring's going to come, and then
Well, it's a new thing
Yeah.
for us to say we're going to make a bigger commitment to one another, right?
yeah.
I think I must have asked you 4,000 times. You sure you want to? Are you ready to do this?
We're already
you
we're
know-
pretty much already doing it.
Do you know me?
I think I do. Okay,
Sweetheart,
babe.
bub,
Yeah, babe.
we are normally so much goofier. I am
I know.
so tired.
I think we're still half asleep. We
I'm way
traveled
half
yesterday,
asleep, yeah.
but we did.
What time did you fall asleep?
Oh, it took me a while.
I was out.
Yeah, you were.
But then I woke up. Remember I told you I had that nightmare?
Yeah, you woke up
Yeah.
like within minutes
5
and like
minutes.
did one of those shakes, like, oh,
Yeah, it was freaky.
yeah.
Hey.
You had a dream that I was taken away by Russians?
Yeah, I did. And I couldn't. I remember vividly. It was so fast, too.
I think that's so sweet that you're dreaming about me.
Well, I was. I think you had some of my stuff, which is why.
Oh, stop
And then
it.
I wanted it back. It wasn't that I was missing
Okay.
you. Hey, she's got my apartment key. I can't get in. I don't want to talk to the landlord who I don't like. No, it was really freaky is that we were someplace and we were having lunch or dinner or whatever, and you were just whisked away a bag over your head. And then I became like Jack Reacher trying to find you. And then when I woke up, I was placed into, remember in Star Wars where they were in that one room and the garbage room and the room started closing in on them, the very first Star Wars? You probably don't remember it because it's a guy thing to remember this shit.
Yeah.
But they were in this one room and the walls, it was a trash compactor and the walls started to close in on them. While I was racing to chase you, a door slams behind me and the wall started to collapse. So, and you still had my key. So I couldn't get to, yeah. But I slept really well after that. I didn't move.
That's good.
I had a question for you. Totally weird.
Okay.
How'd you like sleeping on a full-size bed versus the king?
The full size sucked. Oh my gosh, that was so small. And then you have this habit of like kicking me with your feet a little bit, like you got this little twitch and you're poking me with your toenails. And I'm like, oh, if he touches me one more time.
You woke up. I heard one. Because I
was like, Jack.
You know I can wake up really fast, right? But I can wake up fast and go right back, just like out, right? Like it's the craziest thing to everyone listening, or to my mom, really, because she's the only one.
Yes.
There have been times where you were talking to me when you say, don't lay down, because you're in the middle of telling me a conversation when you're brushing your teeth, and I have to sit in the bed because if I put my head on the pillow, I'm out, right?
You are out instantaneously.
I have to admit, there was one time when I heard, oh, for fuck's sake, or something like that. And I pop up and I put my head back down and I went, I don't know what that was. And I thought, because you had a hard night sleeping. So was that it? Was it me kicking you?
No, it was, well, the last 2 nights I didn't sleep really well. Last night, well, yeah, you kicked me often.
No, the one when we were in the full-size bed. And
Yeah.
Was it that? Was I had kicked you and you were like, ugh.
Yeah, it was not.
I do. I move a lot when I sleep, don't I?
You do. And you tend to roll to the middle.
And then I bounce.
And then you have a lot of real estate on the other side of the bed.
And then
that is
yank
where you're
the
supposed
carpet
to
off.
be leaving.
And then
carpet.
I yank the
carpet.
The carpet, did I say?
Yeah,
the blanket.
you
Whoops,
said
I yanked the carpet. Yeah, the blanket, sorry.
You roll with the blanket when you roll back. And I have to hold onto it so it doesn't go with you.
And the weird thing is I sleep so soundly, right? I'm just moving all the time. But to me,
Meanwhile, I'm wide awake going, he's in the middle of the bed. He's poking me with his feet.
We have a
He took
king-size
all the
bed.
covers. No.
If he wasn't
all
so
good.
handsome.
That's it. That's how that thought
And had A-list
finishes.
preferred status.
That's right. Without that A-list preferred status.
Hey, scored this weekend for everybody. You have to admit.
I'm living like a rock star because of you.
We scored
and that
this
A-list
weekend.
Preferred.
We scored for your brother, all 6'9" of him.
Yes.
Seriously.
Yeah.
They owe
We
us
took
a
their
dinner.
bags.
I hope they're listening.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Well, that's good, right?
That's it.
Now we're talking
Peace.
about checking bags at the airport. All right. Peace.
All right. Peace, everybody. Rock on. See ya.